Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, Gwen is doing everything that she possibly can to keep this man in her life, no matter what. She knows there's a good chance, she knows that Sarah is not there missing her family, is in some sort of desert island somewhere. Um, but the only thing she can sit there and think about is herself and her needs and what she wants. Um, and I'm just like, damn, that's really bad. That you want to hold on to a man so bad that you'll keep his girlfriend or his ex girlfriend away from her loved ones because apparently it's about her. So Xana wakes up and Gwen starts guilt tripping him about, oh, you've been obsessed with with this whole Sarah thing, and she left you, and I'm your girlfriend, and this, that, and the third, and you need to just let it go, especially since she slept with another man on your wedding day. And I'm like, wow, you. I'm just like, I don't know if I should be impressed or should I feel bad. Like, I don't know. Well, no, not feel bad. Like, should I be impressed or should I feel like you are just desperate as hell at this point? I don't know. But, Xander's like, yo, listen, you're my future. It's not about that, but I need to find out what's going on because of Maggie. Um, and, Maggie's out there since they're trying to talk to Jack. Um, trying to put in a good word for Gwen and Xander. And, Jack is like, well, as far as Xander is concerned, he lied to me. He kind of covered up for Gwen, and as far as I'm concerned, he can kick rocks. And the same thing with Gwen. He's like, she hurt my daughter, and this, that, and the third. I was like, she hurt you. Did you say that she hurt your daughter? Isn't she also your daughter too? Okay, whatever. Listen, I'm not trying to give her a free pass because, to be honest, she did this to herself. She did. She did all this to herself. So in that regard, I just really don't feel bad, especially the way that this whole thing would have been so over if Gwen would have been like, "Yo, Snyder, kick rocks." I already told him half the truth. I must sit there and tell him the other half. I mean, really? But whatever. She did what she did, and now she's pretty much screwed. Um, but I do kind of sit there and look at it, and I'm not defending Gwen, but I'm like, Jack, how many mistakes have you made in your life? How many chances did people sit there and give you? So after Maggie leaves, because she says she's partly doing this to cover a debt for Xander, as far as Sarah hurting him and everything like that. I'm like, you know, I mean, if you're friends with him, that's fine, but you don't owe him a debt because of what your daughter might or might not have done. Like that's what? Okay, whatever. Anyway, um, Jack is not there thinking about reconciling with her, but I don't know. I feel like he the way he put it, I felt like he needed permission from Abigail in order to kind of make things right with Gwen. And I'm like, bro, you're a grown ass man. I get that you want to talk to her about reconciling with Gwen, but you made it seem like you needed her permission before you was able to move forward. Like, bro, are you kidding me? So of course when Abby gets over there, Abby's like, yo, listen, I want no parts of her, but I'm not gonna sit there and deny you that. Like I'm not gonna hurt you because of my personal grudge with her. So she's like, yo, if you wanna do it, go right ahead. Do it. Um Now after that, that's when Jennifer gets a call because she got a call before Abigail and him start to talk. And she gets back and she's like, well, I have news that's going to sit there and change everyone's lives or whatever forever. And I'm like, what? Well, what is that? What I'm kind of curious of what's going to change everyone's lives forever. Like, are you back, or what are you doing? Um, and I feel like with her, it's kind of a complicated case. Now, I know that sometimes you have characters that have been on there so long, they're just kind of a fixture. You know, they're just kind of a fixture. They're just there, like Maggie, like Julie and Doug. Um, they're kind of just there. Even when they don't actually have an important storyline, they're just kind of just there. And same thing with Roman for a little bit. At least when I started watching it, it didn't really seem like he had much going on. He was just there, which is fine. But like, he was just kind of there. Now he has something going on with Kate, but and it's sort of the same thing even with like General Hospital. You got Monica there that's just kind of there because she's been a fixture for so long. When Alan, when Alan was there, sometimes he was just there to be there. He never actually always did much of anything, and it was sort of the same thing a little bit. Well, not with Edward, but with Lila. It was just times when she was just there to be there because she's been on the show so long. She's pretty much family. It's like not letting her go. Even though she's not doing anything, she's kind of a fixture, and so that's the same thing with Maggie. Now, the reason why I sit there and bring that up is because with Jennifer, and granted, this is coming from a person who hasn't really been watching the show that long. I don't really remember her getting into much of anything. I mean, yeah, she got into stuff with Jack when Gwen tried to blow up the lives. When Gwen accidentally killed, well, her name was, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember her name. I feel like it's something with an O, like Olivia or something like that. But anyway, when Gwen accidentally killed Jennifer's mom, then she got into something for a little bit. But I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like unless you're gonna actually do something with the character, having that person there sometimes just like, what are we doing? You know. So I'm wondering what they're gonna do with Jennifer, with this Jennifer, because I would love for her to get into something, some sort of storyline, but just having her there as a fixture, it just doesn't always necessarily work. And I know there's a lot of people. I'm not sitting there just singling her out. No, there's a lot of people. My point is, I just don't like dead weight. And I know there's a lot of people that can be considered dead weight, but that's just pretty much where I stand on that. So, Eric comes to see Nicole to practically catch up, say his goodbyes. He's kind of another one. He's kind of another person. It's like I'm pretty sure he had some really great storylines back in the day. When I came in, he wasn't really doing too much of anything. So when he said that he was leaving to go to Africa, I was like, bro, don't miss your flight. You might want to get there kind of early because you haven't been doing a damn thing since I got here. But whatever. Anyway, he thinks that because you asked Nicole like what have you been up to? Have you been seeing anyone? And Nicole's like, oh, I've been seeing EJ. I was like, EJ still didn't tell. Okay, I'm sorry, EJ still didn't. All right, bro. I guess you get around to it like whenever. Um, but Erica's like, yo, I'm not gonna sit and support that. Like he kidnapped my sister. And Nicole's like, I don't believe that. So they go back and forth for a little bit. And he pretty much just kind of says goodbye, like, yo, listen, whoever you're with, I just want to make you happy. And that's about it. And Nicole was Mitty joking around a little bit. Oh, I've ruined you for women and this, that, and the third. I'm like, Nicole, listen, I get you're crying, you're upset, and this, that, and the third, and whatever. But I'm gonna be honest, you did that to yourself. Like all that you did to yourself. Yeah, you were sitting there drinking and stuff like that. But and here's the thing. It's not like she did it sober. So it's like, okay, I get you do things sometimes that you wouldn't do when well, when you're sober. But then you lied about it, and you lied about it, and you lied about it, and you were literally just going to continue to lie to him. When he got back, You're just going to continue to lie to him. Oh, we're just going to go to the party. We're just going to live life, and everything is all good and well. Like, sweetheart, really? And then constantly blame Sammy. Like, well, if you didn't sit there and tell him, then we would still be married. Oh, so you'd be pretty much lying to him for the rest of his life. That's so when she started tearing up and stuff like that. I was like, I know that people are gonna like go sad for her and everything like that, but I'm like, well, you did this to yourself, so I got nothing. Um. Anyway, EJ comes back to the house because Chad is not there talking smack about EJ. Oh, I'm not gonna, you know, I don't have to sit there and hear his stupid accent. Which, by the way, I really love his accent. I love foreign accents. I love British accents. I just love it. Anyway, he walks in and he's like, oh, like I see, like, what, you don't like my stupid accent or whatever? And, Chad's like, oh, what are you doing here? Oh, he lives there. What the hell kind of question is that? Um, he wants to get back to work, and Chad is like, yeah, that's not a good idea. Like PR wise, no, because it's just not going to work for the company. And after some convincing, some arguing, he's just like, well, fine, but it's only for now. This isn't permanent. So he leaves. Chad leaves. He goes to work, takes Abby with him, and Abby goes to see her parents. Now EJ's there, and EJ calls Sammy. Lucas was with Sammy, and Lucas was having this bad daydream of Sammy finding out and Cynthia saying, I'm gonna call the cops on you. You did wrong by me. You hurt me, my family, you kept my family away from me. And then he wakes up, and of course he is Cynthia trying to convince Sammy, don't go back to EJ. He kidnapped you, even though Sammy's like, yeah, I don't feel like he did. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. So she gets the call from EJ. She rushes over. Um, Now, because yeah, EJ called. When EJ answers the door, it's Nicole. He's like, "Oh." Nicole's like, "Yeah, it's nice to see you too." I'm like, "Bro, you do realize that you just called your wife over here. Your wife who can't stand this woman with a passion. Why don't you tell her the truth?" Well, I mean, you should tell her the truth. You should also probably tell her to, kick rocks before. Oops, Sammy walks right in the door. And Sammy's like, what the hell is she doing here? And of course, EJ's like, I got something to tell you. I can tell you in front of her. I didn't do it. But I think that he was like, I felt that Lucas did it. Now, of course, at one point, EJ's like, well, I felt like you did it, Chad. I felt like you set me up. I have a long list of enemies. I was like, have you ever actually thought about just stop being a dick for like a day? Just see what would happen? Nah, you just have too much fun at it. You're just too good at doing it. Okay, all right, cool. Like, bro, there's a reason why you have a list a mile long. But yeah, he tells both of them like, yeah, I didn't do it. It was your ex-husband. Now Lucas is like, yo, I gotta find a way to put a stop to this. So he goes to the office, and Chad's on the phone talking to Shen, talking about, yo, listen, I told him to go to the shadows, EJ to hang out, and I'll be the face. I demur for a little bit, so he goes somewhere else. And Lucas is there, and of course he's, like any good villain does, he starts to monologue to himself. He's like, oh, well, I gotta sit there and just, I took my mother's password because you were stupid enough to sit there and leave it in a site where I can get to. What are you, 7 years old? So he's typing up or whatever, and Chad comes back, and Chad almost has this look like he wanted to sit there and just drop an F bomb or something. And he was like, what the hell? What are you doing here? I'm like, Lucas, you got some explaining to do. I don't know. I mean, you're sitting there trying to beat EJ at his own game as far as being, a villain, and just don't know how good you are at it. But then again, I guess trying to be a hero and a good guy definitely has not been paying off. But to be fair, you're doing all this for Sammy, so let's just kind of let's just kind of just take that for what it is. On a side note, when I was at work today, and I was talking to a customer because she bought the soap opera digest, and so whenever they buy one of those things, I gotta sit there and kind of insert what show do you watch and who's your favorite character. I'm like, so you think Luca's going to jail? And she's like, no, they're not going to do that. He's been on the show for a long time. I was like, he has been. I remember watching a clip of Sammy, and it was a nighttime scene, and she seemed like she was scared, like somebody was coming after her. She's on a payphone. I'm just like, whoa, let me just rewind that for a minute. Is that a payphone? I haven't seen one of those in. So, and Luca's been on the show for a while. I don't know what's gonna wind up happening to him. And I'm pretty sure I said this before. That's all I was asking. I was like, so you think he's gonna go to jail? And of course, she was celebrating that the whole supernatural aspect of the show is over. I'm like, all right. I get where people are coming from, but I wasn't around 20, 25 years ago to watch that, so I kind of just had to enjoy it for what it is now. I feel like that's about it for the most part, but I also feel like I always forget so much. Even though they have less characters that they show than they do on, let's say, GH, where they just am everyone in together, but whatever. Um, well, if I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.